All right, so let's begin the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this beautiful morning. I am Kanhaiya Jha and heading the admission and marketing for International College of Financial Planning. It's a part of Bajaj Capital Group. We are delighted to have you with us for today's webinar, Embracing Change Opportunities for Financial Planner in India's Evolving Wealth Management Landscape. As we navigate the rapidly shifting dynamic of India's financial planning ecosystem, we are honored to have a seasoned professional to guide us through these changes and shed lights on the incredible opportunities for financial advisors in present and future. Please join me in welcome Mr. Vibhu Venket. Vibhu is a certified financial planner with over 25 years of leadership experience in different multinational organizations in India and Dubai. Following his career, Vibhu shifted his focus to his passion for personal finance. Over past 8 years, he has successfully managed his own investment portfolio, achieving a 3x return. In addition to managing his own asset, he is an advisor to different HNI clients on their financial strategies. Vibhu is also committed to mentoring aspiring CFPs and lead outreach initiative for International College of Financial Planning in South and East India. Thank you so much, Vibhu sir, for accepting my invitation. Now the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Kanaya. Hi, Krishan. I hope you're also doing good.
Morning, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, welcome to all the panelists. It's always a pleasure, to talk on such public forums because it gives you a lot of responsibility to be able to guide, people from different age background, different cultural background, to be able to have a common cause, right? Because this morning we are all sitting on this webinar towards achieving a common objective, which is to do something with financial planning landscape in our country. Okay, so without much delay, let me get to the share the screen. Like,
Guys, just a ground rule.
okay.
We have kept everyone on mute just to ensure that when Vibhu sir speaks, we all can hear him without any interruption. But it doesn't deter you asking your question. You can always ask your question in the chat box or in the Q&A forum. Also, at the end of the session, we will have a dedicated 15-20 minutes Q&A session where you can ask your question, interact with speaker, and rest. Uh, Over to you, Vibhu sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kanaya. So, so last evening, me and Kanaya, we were having a discussion about, what is the whole theme is this about? Like, because we are talking about wealth management, we are talking about the changing landscape, we are talking about the Indian domestic market, what kind of a scope it brings and stuff like that. So I want to start with a small story, not really a story, but a very practical aspect of this opportunity or the kind of position that we are in. As you can see in this picture, right? This picture is about the Mahakumbh, which is happening in Prayagraj, which happens once in 144 years, right? So I don't have to say much about it. Don't look at it as a, I'm not trying to portray here a religional thing here, but what I'm trying to portray is an opportunity. So today there is this Mahakumbh which is happening for almost a month, starting from Jan 23rd, and it happens once in 144 years. Just look at our destiny or the position that we are in. We did not choose to be in this time period. We did not engineer it to be this way. But we so happen to be kind of grown adults who will be able to make their own decision to be able to go to that place. Now, we are going, not going is again a discretionary thing. Like, I'm not saying that everyone should go, but at least you have the ability to make a decision whether you want to go or not. Now, this Mahakumbh happens for people who are like 2 years old. We also have small babies. We also have very elderly people who are 70 or 80 plus, who are not so mobile, who are not able to travel very, comfortably. So this is something which is a kind of a message which you get at some points in time for you to be decisive. It's like a now or never, right? If you want to participate in this, If you are inclined to that, if your value system and beliefs are inclined to that, of course, and you should be destined, and you are indeed destined to be in this time period to be an adult who can make his or her own decision to travel. Now, the theme of what we have today is something similar, because we are going to look at India in terms of what if you were born and if you were a professional in 1980s when the market was just evolving or the market was just even very nascent. What if it were in 1990s? What if it were in early 2000s? The Nifty 50, which is the leading index now, is got opened only in 1999. So as we speak, as of today in 2024, if you are in the age bracket of being a working professional, or if you are in the age bracket of wanting to have some kind of a change in your profession, wanting to bring about some kind of a landscape change or a dimensional change in what you do, then this is the time. So let's remember the slide on like a now or a never opportunity. We will link to this, keep linking to this theme many times, multiple times during this webinar. Yeah. So let's begin with some data points. Very, very simple data points. It's available for every general public. The moment you open Google, I'm not presenting you something which is a discrete information or an undisclosed information. The mutual funds AUM as of the 31st of December 2024 is 66.93 lakh crores. That's a mind-boggling figure already. But that's just not the end of it. Just look at the comparison, look at the scale. The mutual fund AUM as of 31st December 2014 was 10.51 lakh crores. And as of 2024, which is hardly a month away, is 66.93 lakh crores. So we are talking about almost 7x growth from about 10 to 70. And we are talking about lakh crores. Many of us, honestly, if someone asks me within 1 second, like if you can tell me like what is the number of zeros in 70 lakh crores, it's very tough to say. 70 lakh and then crores, right? So just 1 crore has 7 ciphers, then you have 60 lakhs. So just imagine the number of zeros that you will be adding to that asset base. And we are talking about only the mutual fund AUM. You also have some PMS, which is portfolio managed services. You have direct stock investments, which large investors do. You also have alternative investment funds. I'm not even counting all that. Those are all part of your wealth industry as well. Those all also carry a wealth advisory angle. Those also carry an investment opportunity angle. So if you look at this figure and if you look at this data point, whether you are an investor yourself, whether you are a financial advisor yourself, whether you are an MFD or you are aspiring to become a financial advisor, this is a very, very encouraging figure, my dear friends, because I don't think anyone with some reasonable amount of sense can afford to miss an opportunity of this size, right? And the growth is annualized is 31%. That's kind of tremendous amount of growth. Just to give you guys a perspective, I made, as we were preparing for this webinar, I made, as of now, it is 67 lakh crores AUM as of December 2024. If we have 10% compounded annual growth, which is 10% every year on year growth for the next 10 years, then in 2034 or end of 2034 December, we will have 1.173 lakh crores of AUM in mutual funds alone. And if it is 15% CAGR, it is 271 lakh crores. And if the mutual fund industry is going to maintain the same amount of growth, which is at about 30%, then we are talking about 923 lakh crores. That's really a very, very mind-boggling number. And even if it is a 20% of year-on-year growth, we are talking about a 411 lakh crores. Now, these numbers, they are just an indication of like what is the kind of size that we are talking about. Like, the universe can give us only the feelers. These are data points which you will have to consume this data point, and you will have to make those decisions which are aligned to this. As I said, whether you are an investor, whether you are an MFD, whether you are an aspiring financial advisor, or even an existing financial advisor who wants to expand the horizon, right? These are the data points. So for the last 10 years, we have had about 31% of compounded annual growth rate, which means every year it was growing at 31%. Now, if it consistently maintains the same growth rate for the next 10 years also, in 2034 December, you will have an AUM in excess of 900 lakh crores, right? And even at 20%, we saw it's not a very small number at all, right? Now the monthly SIP book size is crossed 25,000 crores in November 2024, which means people are not chasing some quick money. It's not like someone has gone and put money in cryptocurrency, or someone is looking for some kind of a magic overnight, or someone is chasing futures. And even now people are still doing futures and options. They are losing money. Whenever you open a trading app of any broker, like the first thing that you get is the disclosure in terms of risk in dealing with futures and options, which SEBI has mandated everyone to put up. Yes, we still do have people doing that, which is actually unfortunate, which is not a very fortunate event. But you also have people who are looking at it long term. What is the indication of the market looking long term? Which is where we have to get encouraged as an investor, as an aspiring financial advisor, as a mutual fund distributor, or any professional who is wanting to take personal finance seriously. Right now, the monthly book size is 25,000 crores. It has crossed. This is, I'm talking about in a single month. Right now, with all of this data, right, on one hand, we have the data which is like 67 lakh crores. We are talking about an annual growth rate of 31%. We are talking about a monthly SIP book size of 25,000 crores. The market penetration for the country as a whole is still less than 10%. What is market penetration? If there are 100 Indians, there are only less than 10 Indians who actually invest in the stock markets or in the financial instruments, right? When investing in stock market doesn't have to mean that you have to always invest in stocks. You can invest in mutual funds, which in turn also invest in a basket of stocks. So I'm talking about the market penetration in terms of financial market penetration. It is about 5 to 8%. We're talking about 67 lakh crores. We are talking about 15x, 7x growth in the last 10 years from 2014 to 2024. We are talking about 25,000 crores of monthly SIP book size. But with all this, we have a market penetration which is less than 10%. Now, that is where, again, as I said, please go back to this in terms of look at this opportunity. It's like now or never, because you have to always catch it young. Because if the market becomes more and more and more matured, obviously every time everyone will have a chance, but you stand a better chance to become a participant in the market at whatever level. As I said, you can be an investor, you can be an MFD, you can be a existing financial advisor who wants to grow or who wants to upskill or who wants to evolve and develop in line with the market, or you can be a person who is interested in personal finance, who is not interested in personal finance. Even if you're a surgeon, if you're a pilot, if you are a doctor, a general doctor, pediatrician, or even if you're a lawyer, if you're a chartered accountant, everyone is concerned, or everyone has some level of interest to personal finance, because it's about money. Because you earn money, you need to know how to manage your own money. That's what is personal finance, right? Personal finance is not some rocket science. It's about how do you manage your own money. So that is personal finance. So this data points which we see in the screen, friends, this is like mind-boggling data according to me. Like, I don't think like there can be anything more that can show us a direction in terms of what we should be doing. Now, okay, now the growth is coming, the market is growing, it is expanding, sir. There is a 7x growth, there is a 10x growth that we are projecting. The economy is growing, the GDP is growing, India is in a great space. The manufacturing, there is a lot of initiatives that is coming for the manufacturing sector. There is a lot of focus on R&D, technology, even the micro, the chips, the processors which are getting manufactured usually in Taiwan. There are a lot of initiatives from different conglomerates in India to develop their manufacturing facilities in India. But how do we see that growth from a financial markets point of view? Yes, that's a very good question in terms of like, how do we see that growth? So we are looking at new trends which are very constantly evolving, which has been different from what it was before some 5 or 10 years. Now, we are going to look at 3 such strategies. considering the amount of time that we have at our end, I'm going to talk about three such strategies which are a very strong indicators. No one can take away the fact that there is a tremendous amount of growth coming. No one can take away the fact that it is for us to decide to become a part of this in what form. No one can deny that India as a market, India as a country is in a great space. Okay. But how are we seeing this? What is the execution strategy for this? Now, the growth has to come, but sir, how is it going to come? Yes, there are 40 to 50 mutual fund companies, and there are about 2,000 mutual fund schemes. It's a mind-boggling statistic. You have about 2,000 mutual fund schemes in this market, or at least 1,600 to 2,000, if not exactly 2,000. So somewhere in excess of 1,500 to 2,000 schemes you have. Sir, all of this has been there forever. What are the new things you're seeing? How do you say that there is this, the landscape is changing? This is the first indication that my landscape of my market is changing. How do I know that? I just have to go to the data. What is passive investing? Passive investing, the famous investor Warren Buffett said once that if he had a choice, he will liquidate all his holdings and just invest into S&P 500, which is one of the indices in the US market. S&P 500 or a NASDAQ, like, he said, like, I will split my money and put in some 2 or 3 indices because it is very tough for me to keep beating the index. Now, as the market evolves, this passive investing is an investing approach. What is passive investing? Passive investing is nothing. It's actually following a particular index. We have 2 indexes, which is your Nifty 50 index, you have BSE index, but passive investing is just not restricted to the index. You have a lot of products coming around the passive investing. You have gold ETF, you have real estate ETF, you have ETF for pharma sector, you have ETF for IT sector, you have ETF for public sector unit banks. Now, what is ETF, sir? ETF is called exchange traded funds. You need a DMAT to be able to invest in ETFs. That is just a reflection in terms of they will follow one particular sector, they will follow one particular item, they will follow one particular asset class. If the price of that asset class moves up, then this ETF price will also go up. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of Nifty Bees. Nifty Bees is an ETF which is exchange traded fund, which is listed in the stock market. I think the price is now around like 240 or something like that. I'm a buyer of that right from the time when it was 170. I have in like multiple thousands of units which I have accumulated over a period of time in this last 3 or 4 years. Now, how do I do this? What is this ETF? How do I understand ETF? Because you will have to be constantly upskilling yourself because yes, there is a tremendous amount of growth, but what is your preparedness as an individual to be able to participate in that growth? Because if we just sit back and say that today we are in 2024, you would have seen a lot of people who were also at a reasonable age when it was 2014. But just imagine someone what level of frustration he or she should have that they are looking at, okay, 2014 the market was at about 10 lakh crores AUM just in mutual funds, and today it is about 70 lakh crores. What did that person, he or she, to do in terms of participating in that growth? Did they upskill themselves? Did they make themselves available as an investor? Did they make themselves available as a professional? Did they make themselves available as being a distributor for the multiple products which are coming in the marketplace? If the answer is no, who do they have to blame for? It's themselves. Obviously, if you have a stable job, if you're into a completely different industry, and if you're just investing as, even then, you should be participating in the market as just an investor. And now one of the best products for that is this passive funds where you don't need to think much. I'm just going to put money, let's say, on the pharmaceutical sectors of India. Let's say because India is becoming the pharma powerhouse for the entire world. They're manufacturing a lot of pills and medicines, and the technology is so much in advancement. They are exporting to multiple different countries. So the pharma companies in India, if they have a huge scope and potential in terms of growth, then why should I not invest in just that pharma index? When I say pharma index, I'm investing on a basket of pharma companies, which could be like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 companies, which form a basket of that pharma index. And as with 1 unit of pharma index, I'm investing in all of that 50 companies. With 1 unit of Nifty piece, I'm investing in all of my Nifty 50 companies. What are the Nifty 50 companies that I have? Your Reliances of the world, your HDFCs of the world, your Asian Paints of the world, your Nestle's of the world, Colgate, Palmolive of the world. You have your Tata Motors of the world. The latest additions is about your Zomatos of the world. So that's what is index investing. That's what is ETF investing. That's what is passive investing. You don't have to go to each and every single individual companies to be able to, because we don't have that level of bandwidth in terms of time, in terms of money. We don't have unlimited money. What if the company that we chose to invest in, or what if the mutual fund we chose to invest in did not perform in line with the market? What is happening in the market? No one can time the market. In the last 10 years, if you had missed 10 best days of market, your returns will be so low than what the other person who participated in the 10 best days in the last 10 years. And now who can predict that 10 best days? They are single day returns, which as high as 10%, 6%. But if you look at it on an overall basis from a 10-year perspective, if you had missed those 10 days, then your returns are not so very good. But if you had participated in that 10 days, your returns are so very good. So how do I decide that? So I have to follow the market. How do I follow the market? I don't have money to go and invest in every sector. So I have to choose passive investing. So this is one trend which is evolving very, very strongly across the different categories of investors. You have categories of investors who's just employed, he or she is starting an SIP. You have a HNI who is in excess of 2 crores. You have a UHNI, which is ultra HNIs, who is in excess of 5 crores of asset size. Every investor is interested in passive investing. As I said, personally, I'm a great fan of Nifty Bees, and I'm an investor into that. I do my passive investing through that product, right? And now to get the indication, we also always need to have the indication in terms of how the numbers are moving, right? So we have 11.5 lakhs as of September 2024. I did not get the exact data as of December 2024, but still it is about, like, let's say it could have also had a growth in terms of, so we could be talking about some 20% of overall AUM in mutual funds being in this passive funds. Like, that's about like 70 to 20% on a ballpark basis. That's a very strong indication in terms of how these products are evolving. Before 5 years, people did not even know what is an ETF. Even today, a lot of us do not know. That's a different thing. But passive investing is just following the index, is just following one particular asset class. It is just following one particular sector. It is about following one particular index. And with 1 unit of investment, you get an exposure to a very wide variety of companies. So this is a very simple entry because the ticket size of entry is so low. Just imagine if I have to buy every single share of Reliance, HDFC, Asian Paints, and all the Nestle's of the world. Nestle and all is priced about 17,000 to 20,000 rupees per share. And HDFC is about 1,800 rupees per share. Kotak Mahindra Bank is at about 1,800 or 1,900 per share. Axis Bank is about in excess of 1,000 rupees per share. Larsen and Toubro is so expensive. Just imagine as an investor, if I have to buy even a single unit of all of these shares which are there in Nifty 50, it will take me a lot of money. But if I invest through Nifty 50, which is again, it's just a mirror image of the Nifty 50's entire index, with that single unit at less than 250 or less than 300 rupees for a single unit, I am able to get to invest an opportunity for me to invest in all of those 50 companies. Now, isn't that great? This is where the evolution comes from. This is where the market gives you the opportunity to participate. This is where the market gives you the opportunity to evolve as an investor, as an advisor, or as a distributor. And which is why I always say it's a now or never as we speak. You're not participating now, you're not participating forever, right? So the investor awareness is growing. It's a simple entry. As I said, the unit price is so low and the potential for growth, as because we are not timing the market. We are just playing along with the market. We are just playing along with what the market is doing. So we are not trying to do anything specific to us. So this is one very specific strategy which I would like to highlight in terms of changing landscape of the wealth management in India. So whatever capacity that you are in, please do start to participate in passive investing, right? Read more about it. You can be always a participant in any form. Now, what is the second thing? And these two asset classes, one is real estate and one is gold, which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to take, say, about only hardly 10 minutes, not more, because we have another part of the presentation to present as well. So, two asset classes as Indians, as part of our society, has always been so close to our heart. Real estate. The moment you get into your first job, people around you, your own family, your friends, your relatives, and your neighbors in the area where you live, they're just going, first question they're going to ask is, when are you going to buy your first home? They don't realize that it's going to be a 15-year, 20-year loan commitment, EMI commitment. They just don't understand that. But even us, as our own, we always dream of buying our first home, buying our home for our parents, buying for home for our parents and for ourselves in the city that we grew up. Personally, I grew up in Madurai. Now I'm in Chennai. Okay? But I always dreamt like I should have a home in Madurai. I do not have now. I have only in Chennai multiple properties, but not in Madurai. But it's been always a dream that all of us have. So for us, real estate is a psychological, it's a part of our culture. Put it very simply, it's a part of our culture. It's part of the value system that we think that real estate is always a safe investment. Although the rental yields is only 2 to 3% across the different cities. I was reading a report in Economic Times a couple of days back. They had given me, they're given in that article the rental yields across different locations in India, right? So now look at the way investors are moving from physical real estate to virtual real estate. What is REIT? REIT is a very similar form of, it's called Real Estate Investment Trust. Okay, they buy large properties. These companies like Blackstones of the world, you have Penn, and you can read about them. Like there are a lot of real estate investment companies who are doing this. They own large properties. What are these large properties? The properties in Bandra Kurla complex in Bombay, the property in Golf Course Road in Gurgaon, and say, some e-city in Bangalore, properties which are in the range of 500 to 700 crores. Can we imagine to buy so easily? We cannot. What if we have, like, say, only 5 lakh rupees? I cannot actually buy a physical real estate with that kind of an investment anywhere in India, right? But if I have that 5 lakhs, I can go and become a part owner at 0.00001 percentage owner, or multiple zeros. You can add 20 zeros, 30 zeros, and then put some one. That percentage of ownership in a property in Bandra Kurla complex, in MG Road, or in Bangalore, or in a Golf Course Road in Gurgaon, I can have in the top addresses across this country, or in a GK1 or a GK2 in Delhi, or in e-cities of the world, or near the airports in those different multiple big cities, I can become a part owner. But I'm not getting the real touch and feel of real estate. I'm only investing. I'm a virtual owner. I also get 90% of whatever is the rents which they collect, which will be in multiple lakhs or multiple crores, to the level of ownership or to the level of investment that I have made. I will get a quarterly dividend. I will get a quarterly dividend or once in 6 months. This is a kind of investment which is growing heaps and bounds. It's not still reached a very significant stage here, but it's becoming like the developed economies of the world, like your US's and stuff, where the awareness is increasing. The AUM is only 1.4 lakh rupees as of now. It's not big compared to the overall AUM, but it is constantly evolving. You also have small and medium REIT, where the minimum investment is 10 lakh rupees. You actually co-own property. You become a property, a fractional ownership, they say. You get to fractionally own a property. It could be a residential property also, which is the small and medium REIT. But for a normal REIT, the minimum investment is as low as 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees. Or if you're buying those listed REITs, it's even lesser. So what I'm trying to tell here, my dear friends, is the tendency or the impact of different asset classes is constantly changing. If we are not changing with the world, if we are not changing with the trends in the market, we'll be left behind, we'll be losing, This is one major indication of how the people, how the investing fraternity, how the general public is viewing the changes that are evolving, that are happening in the marketplace. Which is why I say it's a now or never. You're not catching this bus now, you're not going to be catching it for a long time because it is evolving. If you're not getting into it at an early stage, you're going to miss out. Can you imagine someone putting 5 lakh rupees into a real estate property which is based in multiple different leading addresses? Was this kind of an option available to any of us even before 10 years? Or would anybody would have brought or paid 10 lakh rupees to own some percentage or very small percentage of something without even seeing it, without even touching it, without even feeling it, right? Without doing a Graha Pravesh, for example, if you are an investor also, all this is happening. It's happening right in front of our own eyes. It is for us to see. Look at the your REITs, real estate investment trust, or your small and medium real estate investment trust. Please read about it. If you are an investor, if you are a distributor, if you are an advisor, you have a scope in whatever form that you are in terms of the opportunity that is available right in front of you, which is why I keep saying it's now or never. So this is about real estate, which is a very, very important asset class when it comes to the Indian point of view. Now, the biggest change, Dhanteras, Akshay Tritiya, name every big festival that you always have gold as part of your culture. No, it's part of your society. It's been passed upon for like hundreds of years. You have those antique jewels, you have jewel locked and lockers. But today, people invest in sovereign gold bond. People invest in gold ETF. People invest in gold mutual fund. People invest in multi-asset funds in mutual funds, which have gold as an investment clause, as an investment class. Do they see that gold? Do they feel that gold? Are they getting a feel of that ornament? Do they pay making charges? Do they pay GST? Do they have the fear of theft? No. But are they able to participate in the growth of gold which is available to them? The answer is definitely yes, because they're an investor in gold. If I have 5 lakh rupees, rather than going to a shop and buying some gold jewels, paying GST, paying making charges, paying the wastage charges and stuffs like that, if I go and put that money into a gold ETF, which is very simple to enter, the gold ETF is priced at 66 rupees per unit. Nippon's gold ETF. Can you believe you are an investor in gold if you have 66 rupees? For 66 rupees, you will not be even able to enter a gold shop, because I think the per gram rate is about 7,500 or something. So the 10 grams is about 75,000. Even for you to get a very small ring, it's going to cost close to about a lakh if you're lucky, right? We are talking about entering into gold as an asset class with an investment of 66 lakh rupees. We have gold mutual funds. We have leading mutual fund houses like ICICI having ICICI's multi-asset fund. You have various mutual fund companies who are investing in gold. Even the central banks across the world, Reserve Bank of India, the Federal Reserve in the US, the central banks in Japan, the central banks in England, they're all big buyers of gold. The demand of gold is on increase, whereas the supply is restricted. Look at the mindset of an average Indian investor who is able to shift from his attachment to an ornament-based gold to an investment class of gold. These are some indications. If we don't read this, we are not going to be evolving as an investor or as a professional as well. So I will kind of take a pause in terms of the changing trends in the market scenario, because we have talked about the data points, we have talked about how the market is evolving, we have talked about what is the kind of psychological shift that we are having in the investor's point of view. We also looked at numbers in terms of what's the future growth that we are looking at, even on a very, very conservative basis. This is what we looked at 10% CAGR. We are talking about about 175 lakh crores. At 15% is 271 lakh crores. At 30%, which is the growth for the last 10 years, we are talking about 1,000 lakh crores. So it is a now or never. And whatever that I have captured, it's a thing which is happening not so very frequently. You are in this market, you are at this age for a reason. You will have to make the most of it. But these trends and the data points that we talk about, how do we kind of become a participant in that? What's the kind of upskilling you need? Can you just enter the market like that? Will you be able to talk about it to a individual, to an investor who is sitting in front of you? Will you be able to explain what is the evolving landscape? What's the kind of asset class? What's the mindset shift in mindset? What is the detailed discussion? What is the risk? What is the reward? Will you be able to talk if you're not qualified enough? So the next PPT that we are going to look at is about how do you qualify yourself to be able to participate in this whole thing in a very structured, formal, official framework, for which, as I am myself, you have to become a certified financial planner, right? So let's look at a few aspects in terms of how do you get or how do you reach that aspect of becoming the certified financial planner. Yeah. So as I said, I'm an investor. As Kanaya was introducing in the start, I did not do this from a career perspective. I just started doing it more from my personal own understanding of this thing because I was already consulting people. I'm like, those high net worth individuals who are there in my network, they've been already, taking advices from me in some formal or informal manner in terms of their advisory, their investment landscape and stuff. Because I've been an investor myself for the last 8 or 10 years with about 3x growth into my portfolio. What is 3x growth, my dear friends? If I had 50 lakhs, it is 3 crores now. If I had one, it is 3. So it's something of that sort. Like that's what is 3x growth, like what we talked about 7x growth for the market. So why did I do certified financial CFP certification? For me to formalize my own understanding. Yes, I had an understanding of the market even before I did this, but I wanted to formalize it. I wanted to read this from my own passion in terms of what are the different elements into it. What are the missing pieces if I have some missing pieces? Because upskilling, uplearning, or learning more doesn't have an age. Because I was 44, and as of now, like in another 2 months, I'll be 46. But I was 44 when I chose to do this course. Within 7 months, I did the entire course because that's such was the level of passion. So the age doesn't have to stop you. If you think like I finished my formal education before 20 or 25 years, maybe is this the right time? Yes, definitely there is always a right time. Right time is never tomorrow. Right time is actually was yesterday all the time. So you're already late. So you'll have to make the decision today when it comes to these kind of decisions in terms of upskilling yourself in line with the requirements in the marketplace, right? So the CFP certification, obviously, it's been done by the Financial Planning Standards Board, FPSB USA. It's certified here. FPSB India is a full subsidiary of FPSB USA. So it's a world's top class gold standard certification program when it comes to personal finance. It is recognized in about 27 different countries. In US, if you are a CFP, your minimum salary is $100,000 a year. Yes, it is evolving here in India, but it's got a very strong growth just because of the reason we saw in the previous presentation. If we are going to talk about the different asset classes, if we are going to talk about the different changes, if we have to get an understanding about some 1,500 or 2,000 odd different mutual fund schemes, if you're not a certified professional, if you're not qualified, if you're not fitting into that official framework of the regulatory, then you will not be able to participate at any level. Okay, if you're an investor also, even for me, if I have to read about an SMREIT or an REIT, I should have some bit of an understanding about asset classes, risk, what are the different, what is the concentration risk, what is the diversification. How do I understand this? I got a better understanding of all this when I became a CFP. So this is a gold standard program, just not from the certification, just not from the employment point of view, but even from a knowledge point of view, even if you're doing it for your own sake as being an investor yourself. Or if you're an MFD, if you have to put yourself in a better position. I had a friend who was my batchmate in this CFP. He was a mutual fund distributor based out of some rural part of Odisha. Okay. So he used to take a lot of help from me. I always enjoy helping my co-aspirants. And he said, like, sir, before I did, he completely successfully completed the CFP. We had a journey together. Although he completed 6 or 8 months later than me, but he eventually managed to complete. He told me one beautiful thing. He said, sir, before I became a CFP, if someone came to me with a ticket size of to invest more than 5 lakh rupees for investment, I was scared. But today, even if someone is coming to me with an investment plan, they are asking an investment plan from me for even 50 lakh rupees, I am not scared because he has understood what is asset allocation, he has understood what is risk, he has understood what is insurance planning, he has understood the difference between wealth creation and insurance requirements. He has understood how to do retirement planning. He has understood the significance of what is inflation. He has understood the significance of what is risk profile. How do I analyze the risk profile of each individual? How is each individual unique to their own? How do I understand their goals? How do I help them to make their goals? How do I help them to make smart goals which are specific, measurable, achievable, and you have the time bound thing, realistic, which is what is R. So all of this, how do you do it? If you are certified, if you are becoming a part of a certification, you learn a lot of things, which is what this certification does, right? As I said, it's ideal for students, professionals, independent financial advisors, bankers, insurance agents, to name a few, right? To join the program to get the CFP mark, okay, to join the program, actually, you can be a school student also, right? And you should be at 18 plus years of age. If you are a school student, when I say school student, even if you had not pursued your education further, you can still be 18 plus years, you can join the course. Okay, and no restrictions of like whether you did sociology, whether you did BA economics or BA English literature, or you did engineering, or like even if you did medicine also. I know a lot of doctors who did. I'm myself an engineer who did CFP. So the stream restriction is not there in terms of what has been your stream, in terms of what you did prior to this course. But to get the CFP mark, you should be a minimum a graduate, and you should have either 3 years of experience in banking, financial services, or insurance, or 1 year of a supervised internship under a CFP, under a person who is already a CFP, right? So for taking the exam, to complete that 4 levels of exam, you don't need a certificate, you don't need the work experience. And once you clear the exams, the 4 levels of exam, if you are through the regular pathway, you have 4 levels of exam. The pass marks or the pass status that you have from those 4 levels of exam is valid for 5 years. From the date you pass, let's say you are passing in June 2025, it is valid till June 2030. But before the June 2030, you should have at least a 3 years of work experience in a BFSI sector. You should be holding a basic degree at least, not a master's, but at least an undergraduation. Or you should, apart from the education, you should have had either 3 years of work experience in BFSI sector, or at least a 1 year of experience under a CFP as an intern. So these are the criteria in terms of to get the CFP mark. If you become a part of the CFP charter, because this is renewable every year. I'm a part of the charter. My thing came for renewal in September 2024, and I have renewed it already till September 2025. I will keep renewing it by a little bit of upscaling. I don't have to write the exam every year. It is not required. Once I've written the exam, that is it. It is over, right? Now, the program curriculum, as I said, if you look at whatever that we are talking about the different asset classes, the kind of growth that we are talking about in our market, how do I understand all this? How am I able to relate to all this? It's not that I'm the only person who will be able to do it, or only the CFPs are the only person that are able to do it. No, it's definitely not the case. But it definitely helps if you are a CFP. Because what are the different modules that you are going to do? Your first level, you are going to have two things, which is investment planning specialist, where you will understand the aspects about time value of money. What is time value of money? Whatever that I have put here, my dear friends, is time value of money. It's a formula. Now, if someone says that your current asset is 67 lakh crores, okay, and then I have to find in 5 years at 10% growth, What will be the 67 lakh crores? I will just go to this Excel, put equal to FE. I will put 10% in 5 years. I have a this thing of 67 lakh crores. I have to put the type as one beginning, which is as of from today, the growth is to be estimated. I will say very simply within one click of the mouse, 108 lakh crores will be the AUM. This is the proficiency I got after I did CA. This was not there when I was just an investor. I used to take this from people, whoever that have been advising me as from the banks, my wealth managers and stuff. Even they're not going to be going to be able to open the Excel and just show you like this. If you have this understanding on your own, even the information that you get, you can verify and ratify that information. I did this I calculated only at the rate of 10% growth for the next 5 years, the 67 lakh crores of mutual fund AUM growing to what level. This is the same calculation I did for 10 years for the different growth rates. But how did I do it? Because of the financial mathematics that I acquired through the course of CFP's level 1, the personal finance management. So that is PFM. Then I read about the different asset classes. I read about the different risks. I read about your standard deviation. I read about variance. I read about Sharpe ratio. I read about Jensen's alpha. I read about Trenner ratio. I read about a lot of risk aspects. My level 2, I read about taxation, how to be tax optimizing, how to be tax efficient. Then how do I plan retirement? My dear friends, everyone wants to retire early in life, 45 or 50, or at least they want to become self-sufficient in terms of, not having the pressure to go to the work from 9 to 5. How do we do that? You can only do it if you're investing. And how do they do that on their own? Trust me, when investors reach a corpus size of 1 crore, they are willing to pay money for advisory. But who will they pay money for? Not any random person. They will pay the money only to a person who is being qualified enough to understand the different aspects of different asset classes, the risk behind every asset investment, the risk and opportunities which are available in different asset classes. They are going to be paying money for that. They don't bother paying 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees, but you have to evolve. You have to upskill yourself. You should get experienced enough. On the first day, no one is going to open their Pandora's box and say that, please become my financial advisor to get 50,000. Yes, it's a journey, but you have to begin. And it's a now or never, as I said already, because today we are at a level in the market where the opportunity is tremendous. It is for us to become a part of it. Okay, so in level 2, I read about taxes, I read about taxation. In level 3, I read about risk, about the insurance. Insurance is one of the most common products that gets sold in India. People confuse insurance and wealth. How do you clarify that? How do you make people aware about their need for a health insurance? How do you make people aware about the need for a term insurance? How do you make people aware about an accident policy rider which you have as part of your term insurance? How do you make them aware about the different waivers that they need to have as a part of their policy? How do you make them aware about what should be the right size of insurance that a person should have? This is being taught here. To understand human life value, to understand income replacement, to understand need-based insurance planning without getting into wrong products, choosing the right products, understanding your own needs, which is why the name is personal finance. Your third level will enable you to understand that. And the fourth level is just a combination of all the previous 3 levels. I'm not going to be reading anything new in my fourth level, but I need to also build a comprehensive financial plan as a part of my fourth level. So it's a very comprehensive program. Make no doubts about it. Make no hesitation about it. It is very, very comprehensive. Financial planning practice. So you have all the critical thinking and other aspects that are part of the program. This is there. So, you can be, yes, people will ask, sir, will I be able to adjust to it? As long as you have the intent. I was 44 when I joined. I'm an engineer by background. I have not worked in any PFSA sector even for a single day before I entered this course. But despite all that, I could finish in 7 months because I was an investor, but beyond everything, I had the intent. I had the hunger. I had the fire to do it. That's what you need to do this. You don't need to be a BCom. You don't need to be a commerce student or this background student to be able to do it. You just need to have the passion and fire for it. So why ICOFP? So I always there are a lot of students that I talk to, there are a lot of aspiring students who are advisors connect me on the call because if they have some doubts about the certification, if they have some doubts about the opportunities, and if they have doubts about how to approach this whole thing. So when I explain everything towards the end, I always tell them only one thing, right? You can have 1,000 thoughts, you can have 1,000 questions about whether to do CFP or not. What is whether it is right for you, whether it is a right fitment, whether you are in the right stage of life, whether you are at the right peace of mind or at a mental level, are you in the right position to do that? You can have 100 such questions. But the moment your answer to the question that yes, I want to do CFP, then there is only one question that you can have in mind. Sir, when do I join you guys by paying the 10,000 rupees? That should be the only question that you should have, because I have not seen personally. Don't think that I'm talking about it as being a faculty or a mentor here. I am talking about it from the perspective of being a student of ICOFP. It's been a world-class experience. It has also been a very personalized experience. What is the use for me if it is just world-class? Yes, they have the systems, they have the mock tests, they have the assignments, they have the LMS, they have the live classes, they give you the recordings of the classes. Sir, all of this is fine. But if I have a doubt, if I have a lack of clarity, if I have a lack of understanding in my mind, I can always pick up my phone and speak to a senior mentor. That's the personalized approach. That's the kind of extra efforts which they put, for which actually I don't think they take any money at all. We don't take any money at all for that extra efforts. Even today, 3 days back, there was a level 1 exam. People used to call me at 11:30 in the night. They said, sir, can I call you in WhatsApp? If I don't reply in 2 minutes, that guy is just going to call me in WhatsApp. Because he's having an exam next day morning. He has a question. For him, it is a now or never kind of a thing that he wants to get the clarity at that time. Now, whatever resources, whatever sophisticated facilities that I give, yes, I am providing that all as part of ICOFP. But beyond all that, for me, what is most the critical aspect is I can pick up a phone and talk to a person at the time when I'm in real need of a solution. Now, you cannot call me every day at 11:30 in the night. They also understand that. We also understand it. We also have a life. They also have a life. It's about bandwidth. But if there is a need, and all true, we also have constant mentoring. We also have constant interventions. So you have all of this, which I said. You have the live classes in Zoom, where the tutor will be like, I'm also tutoring a lot of kids. You can ask your doubts. It will be in English. You will be given the recordings of the classes which you will attend. You will have your LMS. You can have practice tests, assignments. You have live classes for video recordings. All of that is available. Beyond that, you also have this human intervention. Trust me on this. Trust me when I say this, because I'm experienced enough both as a student and also as a mentor. This human interaction, this human interface that you have during such professional certifications is a big, big differentiator. And I can very confidently say that ICOFP is the only education provider across Pan India who can guarantee you on that kind of a human interface, not anyone else. And that is a very key differentiator for me in ICOFP. Yes, apart from the world-class infrastructure that we get to you, with a very, very reasonable price value that we offer, the human value cannot be taken away from that. Okay. And obviously, we are the faculties, I'm also here, this picture. And we have faculties, we have our Dean Madhu Sinha ma'am, who was the former director of FBSB India also. So from there, she joined us as early as 2007. So she's been there with us for the last 17 years. We have all the faculties here who are very, very experienced and professional, and they have a wide knowledge which they bring to every single class which they take. So, in terms of you are in safe hands if you are choosing to be with us. If you get on board with us, you're in safe hands. You don't have to have any doubts about it. And in last year, September or October, there was an event in Gift City in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So where it was an FPSB India's event, our team was awarded as the best educator, of the previous year, FPSC under the category of Educator of the Year for 2023-24. For the first time, they introduced awards of such categories, and our dean got the Best Educator Award in that event, which happened in Gandhinagar in near Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Right. So study options, as I said, you have virtual classes, e-learning sessions, and multiple other things. So we have the India's most comprehensive study material. You know why? It's very simple. We were the first education provider to have brought CFP certification coaching in entire pan India. So that we have an experience which runs in excess of 20 plus years. So think about the amount of questions we will have in a repository. Think about the amount of data that we will have. Think about the amount of volume of study materials that we have. It's more than an entire lifetime that if you talk CFP and if you go and touch every single point across the different repository that ICOFP has, you just can't get enough. You will be only going to say, hey, take a pause. First, let me finish this and come to that. So such is the level of repository, volume of data, but beyond all that, you also have the human interface. That's what is the key differentiator for us here in ICOAP. Okay. So this is for the regular pathway. This is what you pay to the board, my dear friends. This is a FPSP board fee. You will be transacting with the board directly. You are not going to make any of these payments to us. You will be paying directly to FPSP India through the many of the payment options that they could have, like credit card or a net banking or debit card, whatever is that option. But you are going to be transacting straight directly with the board, which, as I said, is Financial Planning Standards Board. We are the education provider. We are a premium education provider. There are only 3 or 4 premium education providers, including us. I think it's only 3. So premium education provider. They are a premium education provider. But these fees that you see on the screen is the fee that you will pay to the board directly, not to us. So, you don't have to be thinking about it. Pan India, any education provider, you provide this fee is standard because this is a board fee, right? CFP fast track pathway. So you have to be, if you're a banking professional or if you're a professional from BFSA sector with a postgraduate diploma in which is MBA finance or whatever, and all of these categories. And if you want to get more information in terms of your eligibility criteria, Krishan, who's in this call, he will be able to assist through his team. The academics team or Krishan's team will be able to happily assist you in that process of getting the understanding and clarity from FPSB India, where if you're eligible for this challenge pathway, which means you don't have to take the first 3 levels of exam. You can straight away come to this final level of exam where you will write an exam and submit a project. You don't have to do these 3 levels. If you are a banking professional, if you have that requisite work experience in that industry of BFSI, obviously it is available here. It is available in the website. But beyond all that, as I say, from the human interface angle, Christian and his team or our academics teams will be more than happy to help you in terms of getting that understanding if you're eligible, right? So this is the validation fee, the different fee for the content and exam registration fee and certification. All of this for the fast track pathway, like what we had for the regular pathway. Again, these fees you will be paying directly to the board. We have no role in this. It's directly a transaction between you and the board. Okay. So now we are talking about the CFP study fee in ICOAP. This is a fee which you will pay to us as an education provider. This is the fee which we collect from you, the candidate, to be able to assist you in this journey of CFP, right? So this is like, for all the 4 levels put together, level wise fee, if you're taking it individually, it is 20,000. But if you take all the 4 levels with us, then it is 60,000 rupees for virtual learning, 45,000 rupees for e-learning, which is LMS based thing. Like, you will be given pre-recorded videos and you will be learning them on your own. But even there, we are doing a lot of turbo sessions. Even last evening, I was taking a session for the e-learning batch of 2024. Towards the end of 2024, they had joined, and I was taking a 2-hour session on PFM. 2-hour session on PFM for the e-learning guys. So it's not like e-learning, you are completely on your own. Yes, the number of classes for you will be very minimal or lesser than what you have for virtual. For virtual, every single class there will be a faculty who will be taking the class. For e-learning, you'll be reading, understanding, learning from the videos from yourself, using the recorded classes. But yes, we do have some sessions to kind of make you understand that topic in a much more refined manner. Then fast track pathway, where you will appear for the fourth level directly, the fee is 35,000, right? Now, this is the fee structure that we have been having. Now, as I said, now, my dear friends, this is the point where I would like to compare my slide on this, where the Kumbh Mela thing happens in terms of a now or never. Due to the kind of demand that we are seeing from the market, we also felt that we should also encourage more participation from the students who want to become a part of this whole thing. Trust me, I never had this kind of an offer when I was a student. And in this last 2 years, I have never seen such kind of an offer even for once. And I don't think I'm going to be able to see for in the next foreseeable near future, because we are talking about 26 percentage of, my dear friends. Let me kind of get zoom it much larger than what it is in terms of. So this is 26 percentage we are talking about from the fee that I said about 60, 45, 35 for virtual learning of your live classes and e-learning and pathway, the challenge pathway. From those prices, we are talking about 26 percentage off. You can do the math yourself. This is not because of anything else. This is because of we are already seeing a huge traction. We thought like, okay, this is one gesture that we could give as part of the occasion, so that we can also help more aspiring candidates in whatever age that they are in to be able to become CFPs. So this is a commitment from our side to the board, to the learning fraternity which is available in this country. People who is wanting to take part in this, we are just giving them a small yet very significant gesture in terms of an offer which is as big as this, to kind of commemorate the 26th of January, which is the R Day, which is happening tomorrow. We are giving 26 percentage off from the pricing that you saw here. You will be taking 26 percentage of discount from this pricing. It's only due to the amount of demand that we are able to see. We just want to encourage more and more students to come in, and it's a commitment from our side to be able to educate and make more and more people financially literate in this country, right? So candidates who join a regular pathway, we bring an industry first offer where your final certification will be on us. Now that is outside of this offer. So what that is mean? So that is the board fee that we are talking about, the CFP certification. That will be on us. We will take that off. But this discount is on this 60,000 ka 26%, 45,000 ka 26%. 35,000 ka 26%. So your 26 percentage will be taken off from these prices, which are a comprehensive price, as I said, from an end-to-end perspective, whether you are from regular pathway, whether you are from challenge pathway, whether you are from virtual classes, whether you are from e-learning classes. We will handhold you from the time you onboard with us from the orientation class, which will be taken by our team, till the certification. You will always have someone to be able to speaking to, or you will be always have multiple people to be able to speaking to, because that's the human interface that we provide, despite being so big. And that's the success mantra for us, that despite being so big, we are able to offer that human blend, right? So you save a lot of money. I don't even have to say about any of this now, because we are talking about the bonanza offer of 26 percentage. So you can talk to our advisors now. You can also drop your contact details in the chat. We'll be happy to get in touch with you. Yeah. So with that, I end my session in terms of whatever that I have to say. But before I end, I would just like you guys to take a very hard look at this. It's not because it's Kumbh Mela. What am I trying to signify here? I'm trying to signify that it's a kind of an opportunity which doesn't come so very often. So please do, from perspective of market, you have the opportunity. From the perspective of industry, you have the opportunity. From the perspective of scope of certification, you have, and even from the perspective of making it more affordable, you have an opportunity. So it's a now or never. Yeah. So with that, I thank you all for a very solid attention from you all. I thank Kanaya, I thank Christian also for the opportunity for me to be able to speak on such a wonderful platform. I hand it over back to you, Kanaya. If you have questions, let's take that.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. And couple of questions in the chat box. The one question I'll take first is Shivangi Bhatt is asking, "Hi, I'm a CA and want to pursue CFP now. What are the opportunity I can scale in the financial planning field in US companies? Any additional certification required after CFP?"
For US companies,
Yes.
for US companies, she might have to do the certification, which is based because in CFP certification, we have something called domestic part and an international part. So for domestic part, if we read about the domestic part, if you're reading CFP, if you're studying CFP in India, the domestic part will be Indian domestic thing. So to what level the US thing will apply to that, I'm not so very sure. But if you are a CA, I think you are eligible for a fast track pathway directly, which is where you will be giving the fourth level of exam. And obviously, you can figure out multiple things even for your own clients here from a domestic point of view in India. But from an international point of view, to be able to advice to someone in the US, you might have to know the taxation rules there. You might have to know the estate planning rules there, which will be a part of the curriculum there. The Indian curriculum is India centric.
Yes, so you have to pass one additional certification, cross-border certification, because the investment laws and products are always different from country to country. So that one examination you have to pass to serve the US clients.
Yeah, Dushyant, I think you should take, if you're a branch head in one of the leading private banks, and if you are a postgraduate, I think you can check with the team for eligibility in fast track. Salosh, you are a CA enter with 20 years, it's okay. Which one you suggest for thorough knowledge on all aspects of curriculum? What do you, Ravi Shankar, what's the question? I don't understand. Which one you suggest, meaning regular pathway or the challenge pathway?
Friends, I'm writing that mail ID here. So if you have to check your eligibility, please send your resume to kisanji@isop.org. We will take a soft check from the board once they say that yes, this candidate is okay to go for fast track pathway. We will inform you and then post you can take their admission. Our next fast track pathway is starting in the month of the first week of the next month in the February. So you can enroll by paying 10,000 rupees and rest for the rest of the thing. My team is here; they can help you guide you.
No, but guys, please understand that if you have to become a part of the program, like you will have to the discount program that we talked about for the 26%, the payment has to be made today, because this is a part of the 26 hour day offer. Because I saw someone wanting to join in May, but sir, you will have to make the commitment of payment now, sir, if you want to avail that, because you can become a, because as Kanaya said, and Christian will also elaborate, there'll be a rosters for different batches which will start at different points in time. But as long as you are giving us the commitment with an initial payment to get on board with us, that is when you can avail the offer. I am not sure whether I'm completely sure that this offer will not be there in May. But so why would you want to miss that offer? As long as you are convinced about doing the stuff, then you should make the decisive move today. Yeah, Himanshu.
Yes, so just let me take one question. Ramji Meena is asking, I'm working in government PSU, Indian Oil. Will there be any illegal issue when I do it online? I don't think so because most of the government employee, most of the army personnel I have joined. The one brigadier sir had just joined the last batch, and the student joining CFP from different backgrounds, different government sectors. So I don't think so.
So, Christian, have you put your email ID on the chat box for people to
Yes,
get in
sir.
touch with you for the eligibility?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, christiang@icofp.org. I see it at 12:52 p.m. timestamp. Okay.
What is a fast track and virtual class? So there are two pathway. One is regular pathway and one is the fast track pathway. So
Challenge pathway, yeah.
So it was earlier it was known as challenge pathway, but now this is renamed as the fast track pathway.
So in fast track pathway, you can straight away go to the level 4 of exam. So you'll have to do an exam and a project submission. But if you are from the regular pathway, like I did, I have to clear first 3 levels of exam before I could go for the 4th level. But if you are a postgraduate diploma or a postgraduate, not diploma, postgraduate MBA in finance or having the relevant experience for 3 or 5 years as per the applicable norms, then you are eligible for fast track. But Krishan's email ID is there. Krishan has been a veteran with us for a long time. He will be able to ably assist you with that human touch in terms of able to assist you to get that soft approval from the board if you are eligible for fast track. So please don't worry. Whatever is your individual queries on your qualification criteria, Krishan and his team will be able to swiftly handle that. Don't worry on that part.
Salos ji, normally fast track batches in which month? So our batch start every month. Duration of the batch. So yes, the batches start every month, and around 30 to 35 students will be in a batch. The classes happen on the weekend only, 2 hours Saturday and 2 hours Sunday.
Kanaya, we are also evaluating to see what best we can do to increase the turnaround of the classes so that people get certified
Yes.
soon. So we are working on that. That's work in progress. But yes, as Kanaya said, as of now, we have 2 classes in a week, which is in the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But we are trying to work in line with the students also to see if we can kind of increase the duration of these classes or have one more class during the week so that the turnaround happens much faster. We understand that the fast track people are actually working professionals, or even the other regular pathways are also working. There are working professionals from there also. But since they have 4 levels to complete, they take more classes. But since these fast track is only 1 level, but still we are trying to evaluate if we can have a one more class or a duration of the class being increased so that you can finish the entire modules in 3-4 months and appear for exams in within 4 or 5 months from the start date.
Sachinji is asking, Sachinji is asking, will the degree be recognized by the regulator? So, Sachinji, it's not a degree, it's a certification program. It's valid in 27 countries. You don't have to, this is not required any UGC or AICT approval for this certification. And there are only 3 or 4 certifications is approved by the Senate. Senate is the regulatory body of US. So only the 3 or 4 certification is approved and approved by the Senate. So and CFP CFP is also one of them.
Kanaya, can you clarify to Salosh ji that he can pay 10,000 now and join from May 2025? Is that okay with you?
Yes, he can.
Yeah.
You can join any batch in the next 6 months. You can pay the 10,000 rupees. You can book your seat and you can inform the program advisor.
So he obviously he'll be also eligible for the 26%, right?
Right. So your program fee will remain the same.
So that's the whole advantage that I'm talking about, guys. So this 26% is what is the key differentiator. And Mukesh Malik, we don't guarantee this because it's a very sensitive area. I don't want to be in this thing, but we definitely do refer opportunities that keep coming from our own mother company, which is Bajaj Capital, and also other players in the market. But from a guarantee point of view, there is no guarantee, Mukesh, but we will help you to the level that is possible. So you should not be coming in with the mindset that there is going to be a guaranteed help. So even colleges do not provide campus placements to the level of 100%, but this is a professional certification. We do understand that people do this for employment. We try and assist them to the level that is possible from our end, but not from a guaranteed point of view.
Definitely won't say the guarantee, but currently just give me one moment.
We do assist and we have a lot of opportunities which do come up from.
We have 18 opportunities from the Bajaj Capital. They are looking for a CFP certified person, 3 from the Mirai Assets and 6 from the Nippon India. So this is the current requirement that we have. And even you pass your level 1 and 2, we have plenty of jobs coming in. Once you join the batch, you will see every alternate day there are different companies hiring, and we circulate the message in your group, so you can directly contact the company and you can schedule your interview.
So Shivangi, this thing like you don't need any other certificate from us because you are going to be CFP certified. But obviously, the biggest differentiator, apart from whatever that you have put, is our end-to-end personalized approach that we have, and you can experience it only when you get on board. So that's something like and one sampling size is me. I hope I could communicate with you all in a reasonably good manner. So such is the level of quality that you will have across the board from our different faculties and even from our academics team all through your journey of this certification.
No, Venkatji, you don't have to pay the full amount. You just have to pay the 10,000 rupees and you can book your seat. Rest, it's up to you whether you want to go for a 0% loan or you want to pay your fee by yourself.
So, Kanya, why don't we take some voice questions?
Yes, so you can also unmute. You can raise your hand and I'll unmute you one by one. You can ask your question from Vibhu sir. Yes, Mrunalji, you can ask your question. I think I heard this name also before.
Yeah, Mrunal.
Yes, sir. Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much. Wish you congratulations for Institute in Excellence and wish you very happy new calendar year. Really delighted to attend your webinar and really so much informative is there. So just I like to say as a working professional or this thing, sir, I just want to know update about. I think last time we spoken to you with your, I forget that. That sir, you are also trying to. Established additional recognition from the Australian body. So what is the update on that, sir? Can you please update?
Yes, Australian boarding is a kind of a tie-up which FPSP India has been able to have with their counterparts there in Australia with some regulatory body in Australia. But that's the tie-up which FPSP India is making. So, as I said, we are education providers. We are representing from the point of educating people or helping people complete the certification. But these tie-ups are initiated by the board themselves. So yes, I did read about before 2-3 months back or so. I did read about a tie-up which FPSB India has made with their counterparts or some financial body based out of Australia. So you might, if at all you are looking at some opportunities back in Australia, then you can read about more of it in the web. But as I said, that's a tie-up which happens from the board directly. We do not, we are not part of that. We are education providers, right? So we are education providers for FPSB, but this tie-up, you are pretty right. They have made a tie-up with the Australian counterpart of financial regulatory body in Australia, which happened 2 or 3 months back. You can read more about it in the web.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And one more question.
Yes.
That how about sir, the recognition of the CFP by the capital market and security market regulator? Because earlier it was some there, now they have discontinued. I mean, so how, I mean, will it be preferred at the time of employment or career elevation or by in a very standardized context, not generalized? So what kind of industry level efforts from FASP India to make a CFP as a
See,
preferred?
Mrinal, I will tell you one thing very clearly. Just look at it from this perspective. If someone is working as a relationship manager in a bank, are they CFPs? No. Are they selling mutual funds? Yes. If someone is working in a mutual fund company like ICICI or HDFC or a Kotak Mahindra or a Parag Parikh, or if they are working for LIC or if they are working for HDFC Life, are they guys certified in terms of selling those products which they are selling as a CFP or as a IA or as an RIA? How many wealth managers from private banks do we know that are RIAs? No. So you have a tremendous amount of scope in all of these BFSA sectors, whether it comes to banking, whether it comes first. they have a whole blanket kind of an approval. Now, if you're talking about it pursuing as at an individual level, at an individual this thing, yes, you as a advisor, as a strategic advisor, as a consultant, you can always consult people in whatever form that you want. I had been consulting even before I was a CFO, but I'm a consultant, right? I'm not giving any stock tips or recommendations. I'm not putting it in my Facebook page or whatever, right? But you have a tremendous amount of scale within the BFSI scope. If you're talking about it from an employment, just think about it. No, how many people who is working in an Axis Bank or an S Bank or an HDFC Bank or an IDFC First Bank, do you think all the wealth managers are CFPs? But are they not selling mutual funds? So, but the moment you become CFPs, you become more qualified, you stand a greater chance to be, your employability goes up to that extent when you go to that sector with a CFP in hand. That's the biggest differentiator that I'm trying to point out.
That is correct, sir. A lot of thank you. I get you too, but I think apart from ICFA, which pioneer in for the CFP in India and this continent, Asian continent. So, sir, what is? I mean, I think request. I mean, just to it will be better if FPSB do some action output oriented efforts. So, like making it preferable to all sellers. I think that like is in as in abroad. Not all, but at least for senior people, I think that make a sense.
See, FPSP India is doing their efforts to make it more vibrant, more wider reach, wider scope, wider recognition, wider kind of this thing. All that is work in progress, but we are also constantly, all of us are pushing the board to do that, and it is for their own benefit, so that a lot of people can get benefited from the certification. So yeah, all of that is always, it's always a constant evolution. We are looked at the market opportunity. This is the kind of opportunity which they are also looking at. I'm sure they will be also coming up and doing a lot of these stuffs that you are expecting at this point. But it's all work in progress. It keeps evolving. So we have to become a part of the thing first. If I'm a part of them now, so even whatever happens after 3 years, I will still get a benefit because I'm already a part of it. That's the point which you have to think, like, to become a part of it first. No, we cannot get into this paralysis by analysis, like, thinking too many. There is an opportunity, there is a scope, become a part of it, evolve with it, grow with it.
Yes, sir, a lot of thanks. Thank you so much, sir. You clarified very nicely. Really, a lot of thanks for your valuable information.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Mrinal. Sachin, can we take Sachin's question, please?
Vibhu sir, we have paucity of time. We have just 5 or 7 minutes left, but we will try to take maximum questions.
We'll take one, say a last question, because I also have something somewhere to go. So if we can have one more question of Sachin, because I think he's been in the queue for a long time. Sachin Tejuja.
All right. So Shivangi ji, you can ask your question.
Hi, Vibhu sir. My
Yeah,
question
hi,
is with respect to the syllabus. So I am a chartered accountant, so I'm eligible for the fast track. But is it advisable for me to go through the level 1, 2, 3, or will the fast track give me a comprehensive view of what we study in level 1, 2, 3?
You will get a comprehensive view, but it is also a function of your dedication, Shivangi, because as we speak, I am the chief mentor for the fast track students. I mentor them all across the different batches which they come once they become part of us. Yes, the commitment is always the thing which defines. Yes, you will be reading all of what you will read in the first 3 levels in the 4th level itself. And since you guys are all qualified in terms of numerical ability or in terms of your thinking ability or the exposure to the real world and exposure to the aspects like taxation and exposure to the aspects like handling clients, exposure to the aspect of handling money in a responsible manner, they have kind of restricted the syllabus, not restricted the syllabus, I would say. They have kind of made it in a manner that, to cope up so that they trust in your ability to cope it up within that one thing rather than giving the 3 different things. But you will be reading, you will be exposed to all the curriculum that we had read in the regular pathway in a very, very comprehensive manner. We have about 52 hours of module-based sessions just before you begin to go for the specific level 4 preparation. That 52 hours or 55 hours which we put in, and we also do some refresher sessions to a level of 15 to 20 hours. all of that we do so that to get the preparedness out of you for the first 3 modules which we have. Yeah, so it's very comprehensive. You're not going to miss anything out if you're joining the challenge pathway or the fast track.
Thank you.
Kanaya, we'll just take one more question.
Yeah, we will take this last question.
Why won't you mute this Sachin? Like Chaitanya is also there, Sachin is also there.
Yeah, Chaitanya ji, you can ask your question. You can unmute yourself. All right. So with this,
Okay. So are we ending the session, Kanaya?
yes. So with this, we should wind up the session now. And thank you
Okay.
so much, Vibhu sir, for this
Thank you to all.
this lovely talk. You have shared your experience with our audience. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on your weekend time. So now signing off. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kanaya and Krishan. Thanks to all who attended.